1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. Stuff. Let me know if you can hear alright. If you'd rather not hear me, then I do apologise. My chat's a bit disconnected, so I need to refresh this. Hey George, how you doing? Hey Derek, there's a request here from Arpan saying do more Marcos Foley stuff. Yeah, amazing player. Some great licks. I think he's probably got official tabs and stuff though, so I have to kind of be careful with that sort of stuff. Hey Bob. Dublin Airport, where are you going, Matt? I heard they're actually working on increasing the square footage of Dublin Airport. I don't know if anyone else, you might have like a bit of an inside scoop on that, Matt. There's rumours that it's kind of sort of getting larger. They said it might even be doubling in size. What's wrong with the stream quality? Oh, it's dropping frames for a sport. Oh no, sorry. Telly looks amazing. No, yeah, I think they're in talks with Sweetwater. Hopefully they'll be able to sort it. I also wonder if they'll be able to keep up the quality as they scale things up, because obviously the demand is now there. Let's just get rid of a bunch of stuff. Is the stream quality worse than usual, is it, Jim? Don't do it. I'm using a Helix right now. Yadiel Molina. Hey John. How you doing, John? by Andertons? No. Cheers, Vagabond. Bob asks, is it worth getting a Helix Stomp with the upcoming Stadium release? So we don't really have a date for the Stadium release. And I don't think there's any plans that they've talked about having a smaller version. To me, the HX Stomp is about the best value for money thing that anyone's ever made in the guitar world. Hey Harry. We're in A major, John. I've never spoken to Danish Pete. He did follow me on Instagram the other day. Hey Lee. If there's anyone in chat who didn't like the HX Stomp and they've had an experience, do please share it, because I'm trying to make a video talking about why people don't like the HX Stomp, if there is anyone who doesn't. The gig went well, George. I did play Waves one time. See the sausages? Most of them are there. The annoying thing with this artist thing is, I think it is definitely right to be skeptical, but where are you based, Derek? Graham asks if I could always mention the patches that I use in the video description text. I can try, or I can try and put it in the video. I do try and keep it in the video at some point. Waves by Robin Schultz. What's the actual chord thing for it? Type me one of the lyrics, John. Super close to getting the HX Stomp. We've got the GX100 instead. It's been great. I've heard so many play through the HX Stomp now, and it will sound amazing too. The GX100, I wish Boss did a few different things, but it is great hardware for the money. Do you play any slide? Not really, no. Drifting away is the thing, isn't it? That's the wave after wave part. I just can't hear in my head how any of it goes. What's that? It's way too fast. Sorry, no. So it's like, I don't know, 50 times extra tempo. I cannot do that at all. Oh look, Elodie's left a tambourine here. Harry, thank you very much. He's just dropped in chat that this is the most fun he's had to have without having to verify his age, which if you're not in the UK you may not get that, but Google it. So Dylan did say my only skepticism is the frets on these artist guitars. I like my action screaming low and don't want to get a $200 fret leveling on a $400 guitar, which is a totally valid point. You're in America, you can't get it anyway. But yeah, I do, that makes sense. The frets on this actually are super well polished at least, and the fret ends are nicely done, which is not always the case with some of these cheaper guitars. So I can't really pick out too many flaws. I think the paint job is like maybe the worst thing. The other thing I've noticed with these kind of cheaper guitars spec'd over in that part of the world is that sometimes the hardware and stuff just doesn't look quite right with the guitar, if you know what I mean. Whereas like a Fender Player 2 or whatever, they kind of look fantastic. Chronic Guna. Anyone know what key the Sting tune is? Police. Every Breath You Take. Someone drop that in chat. I've got to play it on CG Carreno. Apologies. I would say, so it's either A major or... I've never played with Gilad. I'm using a Helix right now. So yeah, this is a request for the wedding on Saturday. So I kind of need to familiarise myself with it a bit. Is it? Is it that, or is it? Is the bridge pickup on this one microphonic? No, these two that got sent, it was the Paisley, right, that was slightly microphonic. Wait, no, it was my K-line, wasn't it? I don't know, was the black Paisley one microphonic? I ordered the Canvas DI so that I can use the Tonex one as a backup rig. I am putting an MXR 10 band in between for quick EQ for each room I play. Any recommendations on what? Sounds like you got it sorted, have you? Where would you rate these artist guitars against something like Classic Vibes and Sires? So I think spec-wise, it beats them all. And I think setup and fretwork-wise, it beats them all. And I can't think of anything under £1,000 that beats it. And maybe, yeah, that's about where I would rate it. The guitarist with Sting that I saw recently was amazing. Was that Dominic Miller or was it some other guy? I mean, it sounds like a good idea. Yeah, stick that EQ there, see what happens. Is it a stereo EQ? That's the only thing. Lou Bendretti. I've missed you, Jim. It's been sad today, bro. Derek asks, why did I end up taking the K-line neck off the Nacho? It just felt too wrong, Derek. How'd you do? Both. See you later, George. I hope you're doing okay. Nana Cooley, Derek was there for it. Matt asks how is the jazz scene in Devon, which makes me wonder, maybe Matt. Yes, if you've been to there isn't much of one. There's a bit more of one in Cornwall. Do you prefer to practice sitting down or standing up? Standing up is better for your back, right? Hey Joe. Peter, would you mind emailing me like a bit of a review? And you actually, John, Mr. Oddie. No, Peter, with a review of his artist guitar. John, shoot me like an email, like a review of your guitar on IG if you want. I've never tried any Veilton stuff. The telly does sound alright, doesn't it? Someone asked what I'm using. I'm using a Helix. There's a preset called JC Jewel Litty Artist. Yeah. I think Veilton are like OEM stuff, so I think there's like an amount of like the Hotone Hot One, or however you say it, Harley Benton Flammer, like there seems to be quite a bit of overlap in all of those things, so I've probably tried some part of it, but I've not tried one of their actual things. Oops, got rid of my loop. So this, to me, the neck is not quite as skinny as the Player Series Telly. It's a very light one because they're not using the same traditional woods as the Fender. I think the Player 2 now would have rolled fret edges, so that side of things might be quite similar. It would have a slightly less flat radius, the Fender, so that might be one thing that I prefer about the Fender. But it wouldn't have locking tuners, wouldn't have a compensated bridge, would it? And I just think the roasted quarter sawn maple is like a bit of an upgrade on that. The locking tuners, stainless steel frets is a big one as well, because well, it depends how much you play your guitar, really, I guess. But Matt, have you tried my Chase Bliss presets on the HX Stomp? Because you might find that those actually do something incredibly similar to what the Chi does. Yeah, I think it's a great pedal, and I like that you can just do that sort of thing that I find so inspiring. Yeah, my mum always used to use that Chi word. Okay, we got Dakota, Gregory, Chadswick, Duckinsworth, Ivy, sorry, the fourth. Harry asks a good question and insults his mum in the process. Are stainless steel frets worth it on a budget guitar? It's like my mum having posh tyres when she does 10k miles in 8 years. It's one of those little details, isn't it, where I just think it's one of those things where, I don't know, like on that Ibanez AZ Standard, I didn't feel like there was a huge benefit to it because they weren't polished enough for it to feel slinky. I don't know. Hudson Carrera asks, I have a Classic Vibe 50. Wonder if I should upgrade to the Silver Sky SE. Curious where these artist guitars are rated. Looks like a really good option. I'd rate them above the Silver Sky SE, I think. I think you'd have to go slightly higher up in the SE range to get similar sorts of quality. Isn't it a wear thing? It's a smoothness thing, exactly, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I could nail Donnelly in general. It took, when I was like in my early 20s, I spent quite a lot of time trying to etc. doing that. Martin would like to see more of the jazz on the channel. There's loads of it. If you go further back in the archive, it was mostly what I used to upload to an audience of none. Do they make S-style guitars? They do, yes. I think I prefer the Telly to the S-style on these specific guitars. Cheers, Matt. Catch you later. Yeah, more videos on the Gibson. In time, I think it's one of those things that once Elodie's a bit older, I might have a bit more time to do that sort of thing. Right, yes, some compliments about my jazz stuff, which is flattering, but I'm not actually very good at it. Cheers for the kind words, though. JL Trem from the old days. Hope you're doing well. Used to like the Sunday afternoon jazz performances. Yeah, it was a thing. So basically, what my life was like back then, between you and me, was essentially. I think that was in the phase where I would try to practice for about 7, or play guitar for about 7 hours a day. That was the goal. And I'm playing through a Helix. What's an artist amp? I don't know about the artist amps. I imagine they look like OEM stuff. I've not had much luck on that really cheap side of amps, like practice amp stuff. I think they're all a bit... Doesn't seem that sensible to me. Like, if you can get a modeler for, not crazy money, do you want a cheap amp in the house? Seems to me like it'd be better off. You don't have to spend tons to get a good amp. But actually, having a chat with someone yesterday, Steve Treble, who has a shop somewhere in Cleveland, I think. But he was saying, like, you plug a cheap guitar through a good to expensive amp, you'll find it sounds good. If you plug an expensive guitar through a crap amp, it will not. What effects do you use to make this sound, or is it too complicated to explain quickly? My name is Babs, by the way. So this is guitar into a litigator and an aristocrat on a Helix, so 2 double style stuff. Hey Blue, hope you're well. And then it's just a delay and reverb basically after that. That's all it is, very simple. I saw your video about gigging the Pro Reverb. I get that it's heavy and bulky. Not all tube amps are though. I don't think the amp industry is dead yet, no. So I'm doing a couple of videos for Bad Cat, and they seem to be doing quite well. I think it's just like the amp industry has had to scale things back. But that kind of... I think some amp companies can be quite busy, but I don't think they're building amps to the scale that it used to be. I do think there are some types of gigs where just it still makes infinite sense to take an amp, as I nearly fall over. Where's Jim? What's the axe? So this is an Artist 8063 or something like that. Their little telly model, I think like a £250 guitar. What is a Boss 100? Budget 1600 to 1800. Something like a deluxe reverb, maybe. I think we all have a duty to make sure we are helping to create more guitar players. How do we do that, Harry? Do you want a second kid? Out of curiosity. When we had Elodie, it wasn't the easiest birth for Liana. It was basically fine for me. So we hadn't even really considered it. We do kind of miss her being a baby now, but and our house is like a 3-bedroom with 1 really small bedroom, so we're not really sure if it would work, like in terms of the size of the house. Cheers, Dennis. If anyone's got any questions about anything, childbirth or whatever. What's a plexi acoustic? Using the plexi acoustics in front of the amp. Ray Mears has a Tom Petty signature Rickenbacker. Those Rickenbackers have a real vibe to them, don't they? Jangle machines. Bob says 2 kids is more than twice as hard in all aspects. Oh, those plexiglass things, right. Someone did show me there was like this disperser thing that I think has been discontinued. But yeah, I'd like to hear other people's opinions. The only person I know that used to do it is Paddy Blight, who plays bass for That Pedal Show now. He used to play guitar and he would use one in front of his divided by 13. What key do you want to play in CJ? CG, sorry. Hey Matthew. Joe Bonamassa has one of them. I can't remember what they're called, but they're called something. I look for the artist Gumroad folder. No, this is in a separate one altogether. It's called Dual Litty Arist, as in aristocrat. Brian asks what would be a cost-effective pickup upgrade for an 85 American Standard Strat. I'd have to imagine that an 85 American Standard is not a bad guitar at all. What's wrong with what's already in there? I kind of quite like... Yeah, Joe Bonamassa does, yeah. It's him who has like a signature of it. I'd say about 90% of them are new, Derek. If I'm a bit short on time, then I will sometimes just use an old backing track, or if there's a backing track I really like the sound of, or playing over, I will sometimes do like a few intros with it. Joe Miller asks, what do I like about my K-line Les Paul that is not Gibson standard spec? I think it's all pretty standard. Yeah, the only thing, Brian, I'm not sure whether anything that I'd advise would actually be an upgrade. Like Ron Ellis pickups are really cool, but are you going to spend that kind of money on them? Lola Dirty Blondes I really like in my K-line, but again, I wouldn't say they're necessarily hugely better than maybe what you've already got in there. Have you played a lot of Jaguars or Jazzmasters? No, I haven't at all. Or do you have a preference toward one or the other? I've never played a Jaguar knowingly, but yeah. Have you ever played a Strymon EC1? I know you've tried the El Cap, but there are some differences, especially in the Wyong Flutter. Isn't the EC1, that's the smaller unit, still quite expensive, isn't it? I did mention it in a video the other day. I hadn't seen it actually come out. If you're in the UK, Brian, Monty's do some really nice ones. Chrissy? Chris is over in Spain. I've got a guitar of Chris's to do a video on. Hi from New Zealand, nice. You have the coolest accents in the world. You and South Africans. Todd, they offered to, but I didn't really feel it was necessary. Brazil? What are you saying Brazil for? Have I tried the Yamaha RevStar? Paul, yes, I've done a video comparing like the professional with the standard. I quite like them, but they don't do single coil versions. Well, not proper, they got P90s, right? Oh, that's cool. Someone there saying, what's your name? Dit. That he has my videos on in the background. I think that's kind of the idea. It helps to pass some time sometimes, right? Firefly. As in the brand? Trying to learn the Schofield lick. Which Schofield lick? Philip. Blues Fiddler 4 asks if I ever played any GNLs. Yes, I've owned 2. The first video I ever uploaded to YouTube was playing a GNL Legacy. The white one. It had a really chunky neck on it. It was a bit of a heavier guitar, but it had a lovely smell. It smelled like vanilla, which I think it meant it was killing my brain cells, but in the moment I really loved it. Matthew says, trying to find my forever Strat, but I want Nitro. It's hard to find a Fender that is Nitro with modern-ish appointments. Yeah, if you weren't going for modern, I would say like the Avery stuff is pretty, like if you could find an Avery that weighs something that you like, those are pretty cool in some ways, especially if you see an old one. I saw an old one on Richtone that was like 2004, it was really battered up. Chris, I haven't played a reverse headstock Squire yet, I need to. I want the Eric Johnson SIG, but it has a V. I think you'd be surprised by the neck on that, Matthew, if you've not played it yet. It's a really chunky feeling neck that actually, to my hands, doesn't really feel like a V-neck much at all. I don't know if I tried to do a generation loss video, Dick. I had one like I got in a trade for like a second. I've done reviews on the Squire debut basketball. Check the channel, there are a bunch of them. I've done 3 or 4. I gigged it. Great guitar. I saw that they did that Lost and Found pedal, the Chase Bliss thing, and that looked really cool to me. I'd love to review it, but I don't think I'm on their radar. You could send them an email if you want on my behalf and just say, John wants to work with you. I'm just going to set up a glitch delay here to do like the Helix version of Chase Bliss stuff. Favorite John Mayer song? It's a good question. Wheel. Favorite, yeah, Wheel. Right, so there's a couple of questions come in. Blues Fiddler says, I love your videos. Cheers, chat. Probably the only one who shows your process instead of trying to sell us patches. I do try and sell the patches as well, but I think it's hopefully for some of those people that maybe want to dial it in themselves or are just looking for little tips and tricks. Hopefully that makes it worth it and it just doesn't feel like I'm just hawking the same thing over and over, which is also part of what I do, isn't it? Someone, you always sound so good. How do you connect your guitar to the audio interface and what software do you use? I use Reaper as my DAW, and I always either use Helix native in the DAW or just connect Helix or Fractal or whatever straight to it, if that makes sense. Having tried both the Venus and the HRM version 2 and its brother the Dude, which of the two would you purchase? I'm purchasing a Blue Note Select soon and I really can't decide. I did say if you're going smooth leads and rocky tones, I would go Dude all the way. That is the smoothest drive I think out there. it's not off topic, it's fine. I'll answer questions as they are asked. Oh, cheers, Dan. Get back into guitar, that's awesome. Sorry there's not as many lessons as I'd sometimes like to do. It's just that they take longer. And I don't think there's necessarily as much appetite for them, but I do try to do them when something hits, like inspiration-wise. No, I'm using my Helix right now, Drew. JL Trim asks, how is it still very daylight there? Isn't it after 9 PM? I could probably turn this around and show you something. Watching you play at 25% speed is a lesson. Yeah. I swear I'm getting slower. I think I can turn this round. If you see anything dodgy, please. It's kind of not that daylight out there, if you know what I mean. It's just a lot of light coming in through that back door. Sounds a bit dodgy. But yeah, it is 9 here. I can only really drill down on maybe one lick a week. That's the same for me, really. I did have a chat with someone the other day that was, it was yesterday, who bought the Luke guitar off of me. The Artist Telly, by the way, is still... I've not chosen a home for it yet. I've had some interest in it. The Artist S is going to Dave in Oxford. But yeah, he was talking about, like, you know, you get a lot of people talking about the importance of playing chord tones and stuff like that. And I just wonder, like, is it really realistic to expect someone, you know, with a real job, who's not like a guitarist full time, or someone who's maybe retired or whatever, to really want to be getting super into the weeds on, like, right, on chord 1, I'm going to nail the 3, the 5, the 7. Southeast Asia, is that? What I was basically saying to this guy was that I think if you listen to someone like Chris Buck or some of your favourite players, you might be kind of surprised thinking about, like, how much are they really, like, thinking about the chords that are passing along the way, like to the infinite detail of always trying to hit chord tones. I think you probably get, and like David Gilmour and people like that, I think you can get further than you think without having to get so far down the theory pit. Ryan asks, any tips on improvising more smoothly with legato? I think it's just about starting to get comfortable with it and taking it kind of slow. HRM on my board, the dude I would say, because he's cheaper at the moment, I'd go for. It's the glitch delay, Harry. I need to do a video on it. But yeah, just take it slow. Tim Miller does a great solo on a Yannick Gwizdala tune, which is like legato in vibe, but isn't fast. B asks, would I think the THR10 would be worth it? If you've already got a Wazzers, like you're saying, I don't think anything beats the Wazzer experience. To me, like the headphone amp thing, not headphone amp, what's the word? Desktop amp, just feels like you're plugged into like a desktop amp. It's a bit of a, like this weird in-between space where it's actually not super quiet either. Whereas the Wazzer Airs are actually quiet and I think sound really good and you can just play and get inspired. To me, the desktop amp is a little bit of a not as useful concept in some ways, especially if you're just trying to be quiet. Elodie's asleep now, and this is like sort of talking volume. I think you can get away with quite an amount as long as it's consistent. Dit, I'm playing Helix. I would get Wazzer Airs over Katana Go. It's just a better experience. Maybe I should do a video on that. Charles, could you email me that? I think that's a great idea for a video. Bright out there, JL Trem, because it's quite dark in here now. I need to screenshot that. This is my favourite recurring Deep Gym Pack character. The one who never got found out. Hey Randy, how you doing? Violet asks, the best budget Strat or telly that I've ever played. It's these artist ones. The only downside for me is that A, most of you guys are not going to be able to get one. And B, the radius on this board. Other than that, I think it's pretty much perfect. You know, obviously, like aesthetically, it's a choice, right? Hey, Chris. Ascending should be the easier part of Legato, so if you're finding it alright, descending by the way. Now, right? Hey John, right, you want a puppy break? Which one do you want to see? Let me know, John, and I'll endeavour. Yeah, I mean, these to me qualify as budget guitars because they're like under 300. I ordered one of the white paisley HSX ones a few weeks ago, but it's not arriving until October. Looking forward to it. I hope it's a good one, Daniel. So this is the thing for me, is like, are things going to be staying like good quality as they scale up? I think it'll be worth a follow-up video at that point. Yeah, so if you're into this legato stuff, radius is 14 inches, Joe. Stream volume is the same as usual, Chris, but I've just bumped up the voice audio, so hopefully you'll notice that. I do have more drive on here in a minute though. Peter Moss recommends Slick guitars. I've not heard of them. Yeah, the Squire, what is it? The J Mascis is quite a nice one too. I think this mic is on, right? I can just listen closer, yeah. But I think it's still normal sort of approach, so nothing's really changed. I like the fact that guitar companies will make S and T types with modern radii. There is an abundance of traditional radius options. There isn't that many like actual vintage though. Drew has missed the recent... Oh dear. If the recent on the channel, Drew, there's been some... I've been gigging basically a Les Paul for most of this year's gigs. It's been a bit of a revelation for me. What's the consensus on the guitars? I think for me, I played 3 of them. I would honestly say they're fantastic. And as good as everyone is saying... I think there are Waza Air presets that you can grab just from the Boss Tone Exchange. I think that is probably where you're hearing audio from, by the way, Chris. Yeah, it definitely is. That is where you are hearing my voice from. You tried the AS one as well? No, I've not. I've tried the Paisley one, I've tried this one, I've tried the S. Ryan, I do not keep my improv fresh. It's just something I do all the time. I think almost impossible to get in the USA, unfortunately. There's a bat outside. How long would you say one can reach your level of playing, trying to catch myself up? I think it's your own journey. JL Trem asks if I still have the J Mascis. No, that sold when I moved from that house. I sold quite a lot of gear to buy this house off my parents. No, the volume that I'm going into OBS at, it's like I'm just making sure it's not peaking, essentially, but it's as loud as I can get. It's just I don't have a compressor on it, maybe, and I am way further away from my mic. Keith uses a shotgun mic. This is actually called an effect from line 6. The only thing I could do I could just stick a massive compressor on the whole thing and boost the level, but it'll clip going into OBS then. Yeah, I always use OBS, nothing's changed. bed after this, Chris. No. Hey, new music review, Tim, I think. I'm doing all right over here. How are you doing? I find the Jazz Master is way hotter, essentially, I'd say. Hey, Glenn. Yeah, I had a J Mascis like 5 years ago. That was when I think Nemo and Chip and Darcy were puppies. Run out of ideas when playing an improv? No. It's just trying to play. So just go for it and like. Just keep playing. Listen to what you played. Speaker, or do you mean in the actual cab itself? In the Helix. In the Helix, I use a Mezza Boogie Cali V34 by 12 with a Neumann 67. Had to tune it this whole time, so I just think it is a fantastic guitar for the money. Paul, 100%, yeah. If I wasn't gigging or doing this, I would definitely just be Helix native all the way, I think. Swiss where they run that company, right? Perfect budget guitar, yeah, yeah, I think. Any thoughts about FGN Expert Odyssey? Now, here's a brand that you don't hear loads about, the FGN stuff. Amazing value for money. These are the company that build Ibanez. So if you're interested in like an Ibanez AZ or any of them, take a look at FGN. They're the company that build these guitars for Ibanez. So great for the money. I've never tried Headrush Prime, probably never will. Nice video would be a Velton GB5. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm that interested too much in like, because I've not really seen anyone actually figure out a way that you get through like how do you find a profile in the NAMM world that is going to suit you, like, because it's so disparate and like it's like the Wild West at the moment. If I was looking for a NAMM player, it would be a great candidate, but in general, I just don't think that NAMM has come along as much as I'd have liked it to be a thing where you can just go and browse and make tones and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's getting there. Do you know what I mean? But it's a little bit slower than I thought, possibly. Smooth leads from the Helix. If you look at the Eric lead preset dip, that is basically what I use all the time. So I use the litigator and compressor up front, and then in the cab section run a high cut down to like 4K. Yeah, I'll send it to you and bankrupt you, Chris. And yeah, that's the thing, this Velton Hotone and stuff like that. I think Steve Atkinson just put out a blog actually talking about how quite a lot of them are using the same protocol for converting NAMM profiles. So that's, yeah, I think Leo Gibson's got some interesting stuff on that sort of stuff. I'm a little concerned with the flatter neck radius. Yeah, if it was me speccing my guitar from artist, I wouldn't change too much at all except for that radius. That's it for me. Sonic Ache is not just a NAMM player. It is just a player, yeah, not a capture thing. None of them can do NAMM captures. I don't think there's any device that can do NAMM capture. I did hear that they're trying to update it for IR plus NAMM usage, because at the moment you can't even run both at once. Fair enough. Guess like most of you guys that are interested in the artist guitars, you already have a guitar that you play all the time, right? The 20-inch radius must feel quite flat, right? But 8.5 to 12 or whatever, I don't really sense ton of difference there. Like when you get down to 7, it feels like, okay, this is... I really actually like the feel of a vintage radius. I might have to let the dogs out. I'm just going to let the doggies out. Who needs to go out? Stop, you bug. Stop. Just pretending I got attacked outside. If anyone has any more questions and wants me to carry on for a bit, do feel free to just like say yes, carry on in the chat, or if you're bored and you want to go watch 5 Rock World instead, let me know that as well. Shut up, dogs. I'm quite happy to stay and hang out if you guys are actually getting something out of this. We've got lots of dogs. Who let the dogs out? It's good stuff. Probably help to have a light here. Please continue. You've got a please. Very polite. Right. Oops. I think if I do this, we might even get slightly better. How do I do this? That's not a USB. Wifey cooked some steaks. Nice. California. Must be nice. Sorry. Right. I'm going to turn the torch on. My dog is deeply interested in yours. Yes. Are we getting Pink Pony Club? Do you want Pink Pony Club? If we were to use an amp sim like the Helix Stomp, what speaker? I use the Tonex Cab. The other thing I really like. Hey, Mr. Martin. John. Alright. Yeah, I'm good. I'm still in chats with Monty's. Where did I gig last night? It was Sidmouth. Or Solcombe Regis, it's called. Morning, dogs. Ruben. This is Fenton. I've got to go leaving for a 2-month tour with Sean Phillips tomorrow. Awesome. Have a good tour. Still preparation to take care of. What is touring like? I'm using your Tim Miller arpeggio lessons for practice these last few weeks. It helps me greatly with improvising. That's cool. That's awesome, Stephen. Don't thank me, thank Tim Miller. Who have you been listening to recently? And do you have any recently discovered artists that you're really enjoying? I really like Bill Murray at the moment. Yeah, Bill Murray, I think. I don't know if it's the same for any of you guys, but sometimes there's not like loads of hours to listen to new music. So close to playable, yeah. They asked if I would do some videos, but I was like, I don't really need, I need to reply to them. Anyway, let's keep the questions coming. If any of you wants to donate, you feel free to do that. Have I used a head rush 1x12? No, I wouldn't. Thank you, Peter. I did see that just come through. Thanks for that. Vagabond has gone way back in the archives and asked my opinion on the Epiphone 339. I bought 2 of them. So this was at a time when the first one, we were renting a house, and then I sold that guitar in order to help get a mortgage for our first house. Once I'd had that, I then bought a second 339, which I was much less enamoured with. The first one I really liked. Yeah, the 339 as a body is quite a comfortable guitar. I think they're pretty good, yeah. Since I got back into playing guitar, I spend far less time listening to music. Yeah, I think you're making music more than listening to it. Hopefully when you're playing music, you're kind of listening as you go. The other night I got a chance to just sit and sort of play. This was on Saturday night because Lenny was gigging and I wasn't. Is this stainless fretted? It is, yes. So just to sort of jam along to some Bill Murray for like a couple of hours. I don't think I've played too many guitars with a radius like, so the K line is 10. I really like the feel of a vintage radius, which is 7.25. I don't have much, like maybe like an Ibanez RG. Is that about 14? Dog out a sec. Come on, buddy. Whoa. Fill the dog to water up. Keep the questions coming if you've got them. I did hear some people saying, you know, Sire bringing some stainless steel stuff into the mix. I didn't feel like their normal frets were particularly well polished, so that could be a little bit of a disaster. Yeah, Joe Miller's got a, I think you gig a head rush, right? But a Fender FR12 for me would be like minimum and great bang for buck. Hey Ross, how you doing, bud? What are you up to at the minute? Hey. Do you ever use keyboard and MIDI, etc.? I do play piano. find a very small amount of videos where I might be doing that on the channel. I actually played keyboard on a function gig the other day with Jake and his band. It's kind of hard. I'm playing through the Litigator and the Aristocrat. Recommend sticking with the stock cabs or using IRs. Just use stock cabs, I would. There's a free own hammer one that I use, but the Cali V30 is a really good one. I just pair that with the U67 mic. To me, that's as good as any IR I've tried. Yeah, give me a call. 90 Square Japan made with 7.5 ring cheek. That's cool. Hey, George is back. That was 10 quid. Was that a dump find or just a Facebook Marketplace type situation? Right, I do use the 103 if I'm using the fractal. Right, any requests or anything we want to talk about, let me know. What thickness of picks do I use? Didario Black Ice 1.5mm. How do you connect chords to the lead playing so effortlessly? Stop seeing them as like a separate thing, and you'll find like that there are certain grips that you gravitate towards, like my Eric Johnson sort of spread triad. I also think quite a lot of the chords that I end up skipping in between might be sort of things where I got two fingers and a thumb maybe. But there's also like the Julian Large thing where Dick asks, what am I usually aiming for when making a preset? Depends on the preset, but normally I'm just aiming for something that makes me want to play it. I'm kind of an advocate for using the same things that you know work, making choices in the digital world like you would in the real world. Like, you don't build everything from scratch every time. You have preferences like the J-Rocket Dude or whatever. 2 for 20 quid, one from Japan and one from China. Do you notice anything particularly like different about them at the minute? Just one like glowingly better quality? Heather asked, am I using my Helix Stomp right now? I'm using a Helix floor right now because that I can connect a mic to. So that's what I'm using right now. And in my other videos, you're normally hearing me just through Helix Native these days. I can actually put my foot on this like that. Hey Turkey, Youssef, I mean, from Turkey. You started playing electric guitar at my age then, that's cool. Love blues music. Can you do a video that explains how you dial in a beautiful mix of delay and reverb like I have right now? So, in my Strat Tone video that I've got up right now, I show these blocks. Dancing in the moonlight, as in the right. The right Dancing in the Moonlight, or do you mean the wrong Dancing in the Moonlight? I've never played a Reverend guitar, no, Peter. I think they're Indonesian made, right? Sounds good, it is good. Always much of what I play sounds good. Alas, much of what I play sounds good until I record. Yeah. I have the opposite of that sometimes where like, I think I played really bad on a gig and then I look back and I think, oh, that's actually fine. And then sometimes I think, oh, I thought that was pretty good, and I look back and it's totally boring. No, that's the wrong Dancing in the Moonlight, George. Nah. Apply body? That's not good, is it? I found out that Gangster's Paradise was a cover. Do you mean a sample? Quite a lot of that stuff was, right? One of the first stadium salesmen. I cannot talk about Stadium particularly, I'm afraid. If you were to pick a go-to amp, cab and mic, I guess, for a clean tone pedal platform where pedals do most of the gain, I'd choose my Eric Clean preset. Eric Lead 2023 DIT, and use the clean channel of that, because that's sort of edge of breakup-ish. You may want to turn off the compressor at the start of it, but yeah. Yeah, so check that out. It's got a bunch of delay and reverb like most of my stuff on, but you can tweak that. But yeah, that's the Litigator, and the cab is the Cali V30, the Neumann U67, and then it's just a dual delay and a glitz. A lot of my presets these days are quite simple. I found that sometimes simplicity is the way to go. Unless you're specifically going for something made from MDF, so that surely ends up being quite heavy. I can't play now. Is the preset hearing one you can buy from our online store? This is the dual amps preset. Normally on my other videos, if you just buy the general Gumroad thing, then you'll find that basically you've got access to pretty much all of my presets that I've ever made for a £5. The only companies that I can think of off the top of my head, actually George, if you're around, I've got a Harley Benton that you're welcome to check out. It's 24 frets and has stainless steel frets. The other ones I can think of are like ESP and LTD. And Maybach, actually, they're quite expensive, but they're good. Or an Epiphone. Oh yeah, you're a lefty, aren't you? Sorry. I think I know this, but what video editing software are you using? I've been editing for 6 hours now. I use DaVinci. This is quite impressive. This guitar has stayed in tune very well for nearly 2 hours now. I find bending on these flatter radius guitars harder. Sean Angus Watson is definitely my favourite SG player too. I use the non-free version of it, Chris. I did not check out Cliffs of Dover fingerstyle. I've just checked out a few of like the looping. Cheers, Dit. I do not have a fixed schedule for these. It's just when I'm looking after the kid and I can get her to bed in time. The non-free one price like Reaper, no, it's not like that. You have to buy it. It's like 250 or something. Yeah, just because I edit so much, Ross, and I have such low quality. Just got on. Which model is it? I think it's the AT53. Is it? Ohio mossy oak, let's call it. No, Martin, I did just watch his slide video. The main tip of which was to keep the slide straight along the fret. Is a nacho telly something we should all aspire to get, or should we learn to like what we have here if we are happy with it? It's a great question, Paul. I don't think anyone really... I think it gets to this stage where guitars are as a status symbol. I think nacho is just one of those things along like the route of vintage guitars. No, like if you hear Julian Lage playing, you know, a Mexican player, he sounds really good. If you hear him playing a nacho, he sounds really good. I think it gets to a point where I don't own a telly, so I need it. The whole point for me of the nacho was that I played my buddies and was just like, wow, I love this guitar. And, you know, then thought, well, if I sold all of these other guitars that I don't feel hugely bonded with, then I could afford a nacho. And that's kind of what that nacho represents to me. It was like, it was freeing up space in order to have like a thing that I felt was a bit more special. But I wouldn't say anyone else needs to do it. Any experience with solo kicking guitars? No. We played Joey Landreth songs for our first tune yesterday. Rick, no, I've still got that guitar. It's up in the cupboard. It's a great guitar. Basil Brush rocks. John, how do you have time to do your groceries when you are streaming and making videos all the time? I very rarely stream. That's why they're limited editions. What's the other question? I'm making videos all the time. So the video making part is generally my mornings, and then the afternoons I look after the kid. And I have the help of Deep Impact to help us get our groceries. Who tends to help me around supermarkets with Elodie. I think other people with real jobs have a much harder time than me. I have also noticed that there's this home delivery thing that my neighbours use, and I wonder if maybe that's the thing. But then that would be cutting out the Deep Impact middleman. You may not be able to answer this, but do you think the litigator amp would work in a worship sound setting? Of course. Yeah, definitely. Victorious asks, favourite music genre to gig? I think like 80s rock, I think suits me quite well. Stuff like Don't Stop Believing. I also feel like things like Teenage Dirtbag suit my playing quite well. Where I feel like I can play those kind of genres fairly okay. Playing Never Too Much, the Luther Vandross tune, I really love playing that. There's quite a lot of stuff. If I'm playing guitar, I'm generally quite happy. There's only a few songs in our set that I'm not particularly that enthused playing, like Pharrell stuff, like Happy, I don't really like. I think it's a bit of a naff tune. Sometimes when you're playing like Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling, it feels a bit whatever. But things like Dancing on the Ceiling, Lionel Richie, Don't Stop Believing, I love playing that. I really love playing like The Darkness. I think just rock, silly rock stuff where you get to have a laugh. Oh, Living on a Prayer, I love playing that. Absolute banger. I think that maybe some of the songs that other people hate playing, Simply the Best, absolutely one of my favourite tunes to play. Yes, I can play that solo. Try it over this. See what happens. So I need to get rid of that. Paul has a really good point there, I think. I find that the more music I play, the more music I like. Being a musical snob, as I was, is a shit place to put yourself. I think certainly I've met people that like seem to sort of like not like the wedding stuff that they're playing because they don't like the music. Now, I don't think that like playing a wedding gig is important or anything, but I do think playing songs with your friends that are actually kind of bangers. Like, I can't think I've known and know of people that play with other artists that are like, you imagine like some of these artists that you could name like maybe 2 or 3 of their songs maybe, But if you imagine you had to like play every night like an hour of music from one particular artist that probably doesn't have that many great songs, I'd much rather be playing a wedding set full of bangers. Do you know what I mean? Do you use the Helix outputs at line level or mic level? I don't know. How long before you considered yourself a good guitar player? I think as a teenager I thought I was better than I think I am now, if you know what I mean. I think that's one of those things where you just realise that there's lots you still don't know over time. Do you know what I mean? Just fought for my life against the golf ball sized moth. Nice. I hope you won. I guess, well, unless this is the moth typing now. Could be. But yeah, I'm starting to also really enjoy some of the country music and stuff like that that I hear on smooth country radio. Things like Rascal Flatts, you know, our good buddy Andy Wood is over there sort of playing with Gary. And yeah, that band has bangers. I do love playing Brightside. I don't know any Alice Cooper. I'm sorry, John. Check out Remember Him That Way by Luke Combs. Luke, yeah, I think my buddy Jake, when he was over in Nashville, went to the Luke Combs' bar like the second night after it opened, I think. Is it Luke that did the fast car thing? Ever play any Eric Johnson live? I don't think so. I've not really learnt enough Eric Johnson stuff like to a level where I think I'd feel confident doing it. I used to jam Manhattan. Indie rock and roll. I have fond memories. I did a few like dodgy agency gigs like years ago, but playing Park Life, I absolutely love playing Park Life, which I feel bad because Graham Coxon is still in an originals band, and I feel bad like saying I really like that stuff he did with Blood. I did Pulp, the Disco 2000. That one's amazing. Your Sweet Eyes is an amazing tune, isn't it? Which HX Stomp? I would just go for the general one. Yeah, just go for the general preset, and general preset folder, and you'll find it all there. Your Sweet Eyes could work at a wedding venue. Let's see. Oh no, go on to Gumroad Dit. They got those crowns by not moaning about the sound, Chris. What an absolute banger. Country style music for a wedding gig. Maybe Miley Cyrus. How do you know these? Malibu? I don't know. Yeah, this is why I'm not messaging Lenny. How far away are you from home? I missed out on Radiohead as a kid. I really loved the song High and Dry. 1 hour away? Means I've got to stay talking to these guys for 1 hour. And what's that? All the everything in its right place. I quite like the sound of that tune. I've not listened to Jellyfish, no. But yeah, it's an absolute banger, isn't it? Not really any Stephen Lukather, just like Human Nature. Give it off free falling vibes. bath about 7:30. She went straight to sleep. But she did 3 poos. Using the Eric Clean preset, I would just dial back the compressor at the very start of it. This Sandglass thing, I can just remember he was doing, I remember Jack did something with that idea for like a neural DSP thing, but I can't remember exactly the rhythm of it. I haven't got to Andy Timmons' part on it yet. Yeah, just dial the compressor back. So all I would do is set there's like a level that I boost with into it. So at the moment it'll be at plus 12 dB. I would take that down. I don't know this tune, bruv. Coolest thing I heard in a while. I think these are Chinese made, not Cortec, Patrick, I think. Do it with this. HR, I've got a complaint to make. A huge influence on me as a vocalist, Bobby before that. Sounds like Andy Wood's Sorrows and Sparrows. It's what's it? The Heart something, the Heart something. The Andy Timmons thing that he played. thing that he played that made Dan cry. Well, this is me just improvising now. Red Beach, I've heard the name, I've not heard much of his stuff. It's one of those names like Rai Kuda. Here Lies the Heart, there you go. Someone knows the name. Wanted to save this one before I lose it forever. We can go 4 seconds with this. Timeline or Volante, Marco asks. I think Timeline? Oh. Ambar, Kukami, they're really good. I haven't tuned this guitar in 2 hours and 13 minutes. How cool is this Glitch Late, by the way? That's okay, Patrick. I read that as thanks to the pointless legato lines, which would also have been valid. Hey, Stephen. It's okay, Count Game Right. If you're watching, that's what matters. Sometimes you'll get sick of me eventually. It's too many videos. It's early somewhere, exactly. Charleston, South Carolina, is that? Come on, is that not the coolest effect in the Helix? 29, you liar. Oh my, you get really specific. Oh, are you on a cruise? Or are you in forces? Marco, I think the fretwork is a level above Sire. P. Dubia said I got one of those artists for $2.59. Has to be made of asbestos or something. There has to be a catch. Do you like yours? Your asbestos, I mean. Hey Marco, buy something pretty for Elodie. Lenny bought her something. So Lenny buys her some really cool stuff off of Temu somehow. You live on a sailboat? That's awesome. Oh, cheers Roland. Cheers Martin as well. Oh, that's super, super kind of you all. Thank you. I have to do a video on this, surely. Australia based, but yeah, the guitars are made in China. The guy who runs the company is based in Australia. Yeah, the PRS SE, specifically the SC CE24 Saturn thing I got, it just feels like a budget version of a PRS is how I put it, whereas this feels like a really good quality guitar. And I can't really think of anything that would make it feel like a cheap guitar. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the Relic is that is part that looks cheap, like aesthetically, but actually playing it, I think, I don't know if Pete agrees. Yeah, Mechanics says it's made of Polonia, that's how it's said, isn't it? Which is sort of like a fast growing wood. It's a really nice purple tree. Over there they call it the Tree of Life, where it's grown. Rio de Janeiro, living in Lisbon, awesome. When you dial your presets, do you keep volume at full? Just curious if there are any that made them dial down a bit. That's totally up to you, wherever you put that. Ken asks, the presets that have all those trails, do they work in a band situation? It just depends on the sort of situation. If I was playing in a gig which didn't have a synth, but some of these songs could have done with a synth, like if you were playing there's a Taylor Swift tune, what's it called, Style, I would use this sort of thing for that, to give like the sort of illusion that there was a synth happening. But you know, for a normal gig with a keyboard player, you obviously wouldn't use this sort of thing, or a solo gig it might work as well. Dit is enjoying the presets. Yeah, there's loads in there. Hopefully you'll find some that you dig. Lockings, tuners and strap locks and all that, yeah, they chuck a lot in. They can't be making any profit. I think we probably could end up being surprised by how little companies are paying these people to build these guitars. I think maybe that's something we should think about. I don't know, ethically, I don't understand how it would work. Anyway. Steve Byrne, currently holidaying in Cornwall from Manchester. Do you have any gigs in the general location over the next 4 days? Asked Stephen. No, I've got a wedding gig on Saturday. So Marco then asks, so are lower mid-range Fenders overpriced for what they are? 100%. I think that's unquestionably true at this point. Like the cheaper Gretsch that I played, I thought was a guitar that barely stayed in tune. The Vintera fretwork I like that Vintera guitar, and I think it's potentially would be my favourite. It's just that Vintera frets, like you see lots of pictures on the internet of people that have had horrible fret jobs or like very sharp fret edges. Definitely overpriced. I think Squier for the money tend to be better than Fender. Like for the money, you get more for your money out of it. But like a solid Player 2 from Fender is a great guitar too. It's just, you know, pretty basic spec as well, isn't it? Is Paul White Paul only at My House Studios would? Is he take more on his shirt off? Exactly. The Relic job is a bit ordinary. I plan to refinish my. I think it's less than ordinary. I think it's crazy, but whatever. I love fake sound amps. Says can't game right. Yeah. Mechanics. They have a non-Relic version. Yes. In Brazil, we have these national brands called Tagima and Sezi. They are good guitars. Usually these set up. I have access to my employer's really fancy CNC machines. That's cool. Pretty nice body for pretty much pennies. I think wood is quite expensive over here, but maybe if you're in, where did you say you were? But yeah, material cost is part of it. I think human cost is still significant, right? I would take a sander or something to mine, but it's comfy to play. Yeah, that's one of the things about it. It is super comfy. How do you join function bands? You basically have to go to jam nights and stuff like that, or start your own. I don't know if it's where I live, but it's quite hard to find other musicians who are willing to commit to something like that. People commit once there's money. That's the trouble with it. But agency work was where I sort of started some of that, getting more gigs. Got his one as a customer return slightly cheaper, very true. I imagine the pay working conditions are what we might consider to be subpar, not exploitational, but I think that's partly down to like the country's setup as well. So in some cases, maybe working in the guitar factory might be better than some other opportunities. I'm getting Poplar body blanks from a guy in Glasgow for £35, so that's not cheap, is it really? In my opinion. So yeah. I was talking to Paul from Our House Studios. He buys his wood from Yeovil. It's a place called Yendel's. I think if you get nice wood, it gets fairly expensive, right? But also, like a body blank is not. It's like the loads of work to go after that as well, right? Hey Scott, I hope you're well. Sits on a chair, Cordy style. Playing break, holds the mug rather well, yeah. Machinery and people are the most expensive thing in manufacturing. Rare timber is expensive, the farm stuff is very cheap, but I think that's common knowledge. Yeah. But even still, like, material costs on a guitar are still relatively not super cheap, but like it is surprising that you can make a guitar like this for $259 and still have margin on it, right? If you have a really good neck, what on the body would you mark down on? What do you mean? Just the finish, really. I bought my first USA Strat today. How was it? Hot tea bath with the pups, perhaps. USA Corona Telecaster. I love the neck pickup, but found the bridge pickup too brash harsh. How does the bridge pickup sound on your artist, and is the tone pot effective? Good question, Roland. I think in general that is going to be typically the way on a Strat in any case. The secret really I find is to dial in your stuff, or like particularly on a telly, spend more time specifically on the bridge, dial in stuff that way. Cat Game Right is giving us some more insight on the wood stuff. Do I have a favourite humbucker? Not really. The wood itself can be cheap from suppliers, yeah, especially if you get some sort of older, newer wood. But yeah, as you dry it more and more, that kind of takes more and more time, right? Well, I read somewhere that Fender back in the day were using like 10-year dried timber or lumber, whatever you would call it. What's the difference between lumber and timber? There's a question for you. Scott bought the Ingve Sig. Has that got the scallop frets? Fretboard. Why are you whining, Nemo? So Harry's breaking down his parts caster here. My first telly build, he spent £35 on a poplar body, £50 on an African ebony fretboard, that's expensive, £35 on a maple neck, truss rod is £10, £40 pickups, bridge, electronics, £25 locking tuners, 190 plus. I think I did my telly strap builds for around 400. Lumber you build with and timber you shout when a tree falls down, yes. Timber is the tree after it's fell, lumber is cut down to size. Nice. Space is expensive, yeah. Yeah, right. That's awesome. What I'm really liking about it is that it's just holding its tune incredibly well as well. So we're in 2.5 hours in. Right, I should probably think about wrapping up unless anyone's got any questions, because the dogs are starting to get bothered. What's going on, bud? This is Nemo, the three-legged sausage dog. Might be jammed up now. It's starting to lose some signal now anyway. Thank you so much to everyone who stopped by and contributed in chat. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, yeah. Ooh. Manufacturing wooden boxes for cigars in the Caribbean. That's awesome. Let's try to lick my face. Last question, why are you so handsome? There we go. £50 for the case for the artist, worth it or not? I wouldn't spend £50 on a case, to be honest. I'd just use a gig bag, probably. Certainly not as cheap as they used to be, but Australia on a whole, or I guess in Australia at least, there's no duties tax on these particular guitars. That's cool. Dog starts to whine when you're not in bed. Yes, Nemo. First live. Cheers for stopping by, Marco. Yeah, my signal's just gone crap again. Anyway, I better let this dog out. Cheers, everyone. I'll catch you tomorrow in a video, obviously. Hopefully you get to watch them. The cases are very heavy. I wouldn't bother with well, I guess maybe shipping them in that case might be a bit safer, but they're quite well boxed. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you have a good week. What day is it? It's Tuesday, so it'll be Wednesday tomorrow. Got to